Welcome everyone to episode 16 of the Volley Zone Podcast. I'm Nick Von Egypt, joined by my co-host Zion here. Zion, what's up, man? How you doing today?
Great, brother. How you doing?
All good here. Had a couple of days I was away in Philadelphia playing some pickleball at a work trip. A really nice facility, Ballers Social Club out near Philly. So if you're ever out there, check it out. So that was fun. I played with the head pro there, through a little group together. But it was good to be home. I got back late last night. It took me 5 hours to drive back to New York. Bit of a pain, but we're back at it. We got a jam-packed episode. Super excited for this one.
Yeah, dude, the pictures are really cool. It looks like a really nice facility. And I hope you brought a lot of paddles because, wow, do we have, as always, a lot to go over. We have some paddle news to discuss with you guys. Not as many colorways, but a couple of new paddles that have been announced. And then we play tested a handful of paddles. We're going to go over a little bit of the RPM Strike, the Inferno 2 M1, the E6 Ignis, the foam paddle. Yes, that is what it's called, the foam paddle, and then the Mark Unmarked. So that's just in the playtest section. Before that, we're going to do some paddle news. Before that, we have a giveaway.
We do have a giveaway. So on this week's episode, we're going to be giving away a Proton Peacock straight from Proton themselves. So really appreciate Proton donating a peacock for us to give away. And it's to hype up the new launch of their Coyote paddle. The Gen 3 15mm core paddle. Definitely a power paddle. We're going to be getting our hands on it potentially next week. They were taking pre-orders. Those should start shipping next week. You can now use code VolleyZone on Proton's website. And I've also got the Coyotes up on vonegyptpickleball.com. That's a pre-order. Those will probably ship out within the 1 or 2 weeks. But Zion and I both purchased some. We've got some demos on the way, so we're excited to hit with those. So once again, really appreciate Proton. And we have to announce the giveaway winner from last week's episode, the RPM 14mm V2 elongated. So that's George Brewster. Congratulations. This one will go out to you brand new. And yeah, what do the people have to comment this week to win that Proton Peacock, Zion?
Congrats, George. Congrats. Okay, I have a good question for them, okay? Would you rather...
Ooh, would you rather?
Would you rather have the black hat that Nick is wearing? We have a white hat or a blue hat. We actually have 2 blacks, different color ropes, and 2 whites. But comment which is your favorite hat, the white, the black, or the navy.
Super sweet. Really nice, form-fitting. We've had a handful of orders, so really appreciate those who've supported the podcast. We have some left, so if you're interested, you can click the link down in the description and support us here so we can purchase more paddles.
Shout out to Jared for sending me a Cohen Academy hat. I'm like Jimmy Miller. I wear whatever hats people send me. I like having different hats. My wife thinks I have too many, but I think that's complete nonsense. She doesn't listen to the pod anyways. It's fine. I can say whatever. So shout out to Jared, though. Appreciate you. So and buy some of our hats. We appreciate the support and the love from everybody.
All right, so I think that's good on the intro. We've got a jam-packed episode. What do you want to start with in regards to paddle news this week?
Okay, we got some new news, paddle news. Let's talk about what you got in the mail just last night, and that would be the RPM V2 flat top hybrids, and the 16 and the 14. So they should be shipping out, I believe, September 1st to everybody else. They're in pre-order right now. You got some early. Hashtag jealous. What do you think about those things, man?
Yeah, so I haven't played any games with them yet, but I did dink with them on the Dink Master, did some hands and all that good stuff. And I am torn, Zion, on what the new main is going to be, because if you've listened to the podcast, I've been maining the 14mm V2 elongated ever since it came out. Then a couple weeks ago, they dropped a blackout version, the UPA only, which has super gritty surface. And so I switched to that. To me, they feel the same. Some people in Discord have said they feel a little bit different. You say they feel different, but for me, they felt pretty much the same, just a little better spin. So it was a no-brainer. And now I get the hybrids in the mail. And the sweet spot on this thing is massive. You still have a ton of reach. I did a rough measurement last night. I think they're like 7.7 by 16.3. So like really good shape. The handle, perfect for twoies. Perfect. I mean, it's like 5.6. It is perfect. So I'm going to weight this bad boy up. I'm going to get a Nylocore on it. Going to get an overgrip on it. Scheduled to play Wednesday of next week. I'm so torn, dude.
I don't have the V2 yet, but I do have the Q2 flat top hybrid. And man, I am so surprised that this shape has not been more like widely accepted sooner. Like the Cosmos was kind of the first one to do it, but it had that shorter handle. The Ultra has just been so popular. They're literally like a month backed up with 11.624 with the Ultra. That's how popular it is. And these V2s, the 16s sold out immediately. I think you might be able to get some 14s still. And these Q2s are awesome too for the shape. The sweet spot is literally the whole paddle. It still feels like the reach of an elongated paddle. I mean, like you said, the hands fit perfectly. I feel like my 2E roll is the best it's ever been with this paddle. So yeah, I love this shape. I think it's really good because it's still like, obviously, James has actually talked about this, how the wide body shape is what's the best for everybody. And I agree, from like, especially if you're getting into the sport, 3.0 to 4.0 to 4.5 even, biggest sweet spot. He says the pros should even use them all, and a lot of pros do. Bigger sweet spot, more consistent, but honestly, they just don't have the aesthetic appeal that an elongated paddle does. Well, guess what? If you can get both good-looking aesthetic appeal and bigger sweet spot, that's what these flat top hybrids are, man, and they're awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited to hit with these. I don't know what I'm gonna main, if I'm gonna love this, but my dream was always to have a hybrid in this shape. I really loved it was the Body Helix F1 in the hybrid shape, and it was pretty much this, and it was such a good paddle, but it wasn't USAP approved, so I didn't main it.
Oh,
But yeah, to me, this shape seems just like it, and sweet spot huge, and then you're not losing too much on your reach. I have a line, for the kitchen line. I was just hitting flicks, and I wasn't, missing any of that reach. So I've been wanting to main a
yeah.
hybrid for a longer time, just a bit more forgiving, more sweet spot, better from, the baseline and transition zone. So I'm really hopeful for this one.
And they also released a Q2 hybrid rounded top, and it has a 5.7 inch handle instead of 5.5 inch handle. And it is, it's really good. Now, here's the thing is, it is a little bit of a smaller sweet spot because of that longer handle. There's like less surface area there, but it swings really fast. And so I would say if you kind of play like Jack Sock, if you're pretty wristy and want to whip it and just slap that ball, that's what that is good for. Kind of like a one-legged leaning back Steph Curry shot and just slap it. That paddle is awesome because obviously the Q2 is very hot, and so it's going to go good and you could shape it really well. So I didn't love it as much as the flat top hybrid because I needed this sweet spot for me and the consistency. But if I was just absolutely speeding every ball up or whipping it every time, then the flat top hybrid might be a fun option for you.
Yeah, I did order some. Did you get any?
I did. I think I only have one left. Yeah, those have sold pretty fast. I ordered 10 of the Q2s in the new shape, and all of my flat tops are gone, and I have one rounded top left.
Yeah, people really love the hybrid and brand new shape. People were chomping at the bit for a while at RPM for them to get out of hybrid.
We do not have any news on the last video. We said, what are you most excited for? Comment down below. And probably at least 50, if not 60% of the comments were about RPM stuff. We don't have any new news on the Jade. The Strike we have play tested, and we will talk about that later in the paddles we've played with section. But let's go on to more paddle news. These Mehau paddles are getting some chatter, so we wanted to bring these up really quick. They're they're Gen 3, right? Is that what they are?
I think Gen 4 from the
Oh, really?
description on Pickleball Central here. So it looks like EPP foam core, 16 millimeter on the power version, which is 259. And then they have the E4 control version, which looks to be EVA plus EPP.
Yeah, they've been getting some attention because the Johnson brothers are now sponsored by them. And apparently, I know one guy that has them has said that they are rockets.
Yeah, I thought I saw Matt's Pickleball say that they were Gen 3, so I don't know if they have other options, but these look to be Gen 4 just from the description and sort of a longer handle 5.71. So if that's your jam, you could look at these, but we haven't touched base with Mehau yet, but I will reach out soon.
Sweet. You do have some news on the MPP Turbo Armor and Echo from Enhance. So the MPP Turbo is getting some new grit, and it's called the Armor Grit. And then there's a new paddle coming out called the Echo. And what's some news on that?
Yep, so I was texting with one of the owners, Enhance, Drew, and he gave me some info. They have replicated John Q's Canon durability grit testing, and Armor Grit has been getting tier 1 results consistently, and in some cases has actually been seeing an increase in spin, which we've seen happen with Hex Grit and potentially the Blue Grit from Honolulu. So really promising early results. Obviously, when a company says these things without it being released, we take it with a grain of salt. But since they've replicated the test, really promising news there. Enhance has done really well with the MPP Turbo and now going to release it in a durable grit option. So I'm curious if folks are interested in this. It still will be at around that $100 price point for the Turbo. And then Drew did send me some info on the Echo, and that the Turbo should be releasing early September, and then I think the Echo will be right behind it. But the Echo is a first of its kind MPP core, has more power, pop, and a bigger sweet spot than the MPP Turbo, while also having a very consistent response a lot of players aren't used to with MPP paddles. And then he got into...
Interesting. I wonder if it's like a slightly toned down MPP, like a stiffer MPP, kind of like 11624 instead of a because the MPP Turbo is kind of like the Inferno and stuff like that. But the MPP Turbo has a great sweet spot, so that's interesting that they'd say that.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays. Hopefully, we can get our hands on some early.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a video that we've seen where of the Echo, and it's in the sunlight, and it's glittering and really pretty. So it looks a lot better than this photo that we pulled. So you'll have to excuse us for that, but it does look pretty good when it's in the sun.
Yeah, it does. All right, next we've got...
Oh, hey, this is some good news. There's a new Franklin paddle coming out, and we heard that in the finals, Annalie might be using it. So watch out for that. Maybe Hayden will use it, maybe not. We heard it was supposed to be Annalie, but we'll see. So look out for that next weekend at MLP Finals. But apparently it's called the Whip, and apparently it's supposed to have a durable grip.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it from the photo. Looks to have that metallic gray edge guard. I have to reach out to the Franklin rep to see if they'll give me any info on this. Have you heard anything from Franklin?
Just everything I just said. That's it, though.
Let me shoot my sales rep a quick text, and maybe we'll get some breaking info during the podcast.
We know about this. That'd be cool. I like breaking news. We just know about this because it showed up on, I can't remember if there's the USAP or UPA list. Probably the UPA list, but it showed up as an approved paddle.
All right, I just shot him a text. We'll see if he responds.
So I'm interested. I think the Dynasty was a hit. You still see people using the Dynasty. Franklin's a big name. in the sport. It's been probably has to be like 9 months or something like that since the Dynasty came out. So I think this is, if not closer to a year. So I think this is good timing for them to come out with a new paddle, and it should sell pretty well.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming out in this elongated Dynasty shape. Annalie has been using the hybrid shape, so it'll be interesting to see if she's sporting a hybrid that's not, public yet, or if she's actually switching to the elongated shape for MLP finals, which would be crazy.
I wonder if she weights up that hybrid a lot, because like her other paddles, when she was with paddles, actually literally put weight around the whole edge guard.
Yeah, she does put electrical tape around it, and underneath you can sort of see the bumps of the weighted tape.
Oh, I have seen that. It's like the four corners, right?
Yeah.
So it's almost the whole thing, but not quite.
I think it's there. Yeah.
I think she's played around with different things. You can't tell though. She still plays as consistent as ever.
Yeah. All right. The Franklin rep texted me back. He said he doesn't know. We have not been briefed on new products yet. Sometimes you get breaking stuff like this where it just gets approved in the Discord and the bot pulls it, and sales reps don't even have the info yet. So it seems like it's a little bit further away. We'll see.
Man, that stinks. That would have been so cool to have some breaking news. He texts back fast. I'm impressed.
Yeah, a lot of the sales reps are very responsive, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, only when you text them, I'm sure they are. Huh?
All right.
All right. Well, tell us about another paddle that you got yesterday. The 11-0 foam UPA only paddle that Camila Zilvetti or whatever, I can't remember her name, that she plays with.
Yeah. So shout out to Brian Kerr and Camila Zilvetti, who's assigned EPA Pro. So they sent me their 11-0 paddle. It's the Easy Speed E16. It's a 16 millimeter elongated full foam paddle. It's a triple density core. It does sort of have that softer, dwellier type feel to it. It is UPA only. It's extremely gritty. Extremely, this would not pass USAP testing. They retail for $219. We don't have a code yet, but what I thought was interesting was they have a 30-day try it return policy, and they'll also comp your shipping back to them. And they have a 1-year warranty. So they stand by their products. They also have an elongated in a 14 millimeter and then a wide body in a 14 millimeter paddle. They also have $110 Gen 3 paddle. So, if they're introducing somebody to the brand, that could be the potential option for them. But the backstory was Camila was signed by the UPA, had paddle sponsor offers, but wanted a better performing paddle. So they started their own brand, basically. And this is what they use. And I think they're going to start signing players. But interestingly enough, Zan, you and I spoke about this, but Tina Pisnik, who hit that incredible Sports Center top 2 ATP from the baseline shot, posted pictures on Instagram, and she had a blacked out version, and you can clearly see at the bottom that it is this brand 11-0, and she was using the 16 millimeter, this paddle right here in the blackout version. So pretty cool, good press for them. I'm going to be checking this paddle out. I was talking to Brian about wholesale, and he was kind enough to send me one to test out. So really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's always impressive when pros are using paddles that they aren't signed with, especially when it's like a little bit of a less known paddle company like that. Because a player like Tina Pisnik could probably text any paddle company and they'd send her some for free just to get the free marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah, she was using Vulcan previously, and Nick Kyrgios was in the headlines earlier this week for failing a drug test. So unfortunate for him. I don't know if we'll see him with Stack any longer, but we'll see if anything.
Did you see Stack just made a statement?
No, I didn't see it. I did see that they cut the prices of the Vulcan paddles with his name on it, the elongated version.
I have so many of those in stock. I should do that too. You've seen the news, so have we. Nick made a mistake. He said we didn't sign Nick because he was perfect. We signed him because he's real. People fall down. Our partnership with Nick continues. That's not a business decision. That's just who we are. See you in the court, Nick. Some stuff like that.
Got it. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, was he really gonna make a comeback to tennis? I don't know.
No, but he's a cool dude, So
Yeah.
it seems like a guy who wants to party and would do crack cocaine, which is what he got busted for. So
Yeah, this is sort of a
teach their own.
for sure. I wanted to just touch on the shape of the 11-0. It looks pretty unique. So this is not just like a cookie cutter brand where they're copying a mold from somebody. It is a little bit on the narrower side. I think it just came in just under 7.5. But the sweet spot felt good. I was, volleying up against the dink board before, and yeah, solid feeling paddle. Really cool story, from Brian and Camila. So nice to see pros doing good things in the sport.
Awesome. Last paddle news, even though it's not about a paddle, but pickleball news, I guess, is we got some. Remind me what the company's name is, but some hat liners in. It's supposed to soak up and absorb all the sweat. NoSweat. That's what they're called.
NoSweat. Yeah, NoSweat. I was curious if anyone has ever used hat liners before. It's a new concept to me. Basically, a previous sales rep from a paddle brand is no longer with that paddle brand, and he, represents a bunch of different brands. This is one of the new brands that he'll potentially be representing. So he sent me some samples, but the concept to me is foreign. It's basically a pad that goes inside your hat to soak up some sweat. I did look up on the website. It was $28 for 6 of these. I don't know if you get more than a single session out of them, but I think they're about, comes out to like $5 each, and I think there's a discount code Volley Zone. Potentially once this episode goes live, that might save you a discount. But yeah, I've never heard of these before. It's an interesting concept. They have like 33,000 followers, so clearly people are using these. Maybe
it sounds like something that you'd see on Shark Tank. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
like a new concept that's kind of a little niche, but probably a good product, and just needs to have some better or some marketing. Not some better marketing. Maybe they have pretty good marketing since they have 30,000 followers. They have more followers than I have, I guess. So who am I to judge? But interesting concept. You'll have to send me one of those. I'm not sure like how much I trust it or believe it, or maybe it works really good and it's like this is a complete game changer. I don't know.
I'm wondering if maybe you can wash them afterwards, or if it's single use. It doesn't say you can use it for multiple sessions. So
you'll have to ask your guy.
Yeah, I will. Interesting concept. We'll see if it works. I'm going to put it on next week when I play.
Sweet. Well, I tell you what, let's get some deep dive into some paddles. We're going to start with the RPM Strike, which is a Gen 3 15 millimeter durable grit paddle that is not out yet. James was kind enough to send both of us one. And I think I've had a little more time on mine than what you have, but I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so I was playing with the Blackout 14 millimeter version in a 5-0 group, and I took a couple L's early, and I switched to the Strike, and I started winning. So I don't know what that says about my game. If this
sells itself. That sells itself right there. There we go.
I don't know if it's a better fit for my game, but overall, it feels a little bit dialed down from the 14 millimeter V2 version. Less power for me. In transition, I felt a little more comfortable resetting with this. The spin was noticeably better. It is very gritty to the touch. We don't know price point on it yet, but 15 millimeter Gen 3 is sort of an interesting paddle build. We don't see that quite commonly. We've got it in the Flamingo and also the Coyote now. So maybe it's catching on, but overall, I really like the paddle. I was hitting some nice drives, some nice dipping drives with these, and dinking was really nice with the spin. But overall, yeah, I would rate it, maybe 8 out of 10 for me. I don't normally play with paddles without like the Hexacore. This has a really firm feeling handle, and comparing it to the V2, this one sort of has a softer feeling handle. So I'm wondering if they're doing some hard pallets on the strike for whatever reason.
That's a really good pickup there. It's you mentioned we both thought it was stiffer than the V2. Maybe comparing it to kind of like how a brand new out of the box Pro 5 feels like a little bit more like on the stiffer side. Like, what do you think? What would you compare it to at all?
Yeah, definitely on the stiffer side. Maybe like you and I tend to differ on the feel of the Pro 5 versus the Pro 4. To me, the Pro 4 feels a little more stiffer than a Pro 5. Would you disagree with that?
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Pro 4 is pretty mushy. And at least once you break it in, and the V2 happens, the V2 does that too. Once you break it in, it gets pretty mushy.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely on the stiffer feeling side. I'm wondering if the durable grit has something to do with that. We've heard, adding durable grit can change the feel of the paddle. So maybe once the grit goes down a little bit and the Gen 3 polymer core breaks in a little bit, you were saying that it feels a little bit softer than what it first started as.
Yeah, I've got a decent amount of games on mine now, and it's definitely loosened up a bit more, and where I could feel the ball a little bit better, which is nice. I think for like little one-off drops like this, 15 millimeters is really fun because it has similar stability to a 16, but pretty fast hands at the kitchen like a 14. So a little bit of best of the both worlds there. It um, it's really it has power when you need it, like low end of the power category. Maybe like right underneath the, I don't know. I don't want to compare. I don't know, but it's not as powerful as the V2 or the Q2, but it's not like a all court paddle. It's just like the lower end of the power category, but it has it when you need it, and it's just really fun to do dipping shots. So if you're a tennis player that really likes to put top on it and curve the ball, then this paddle is absolutely for you, especially with the tier 1 grit that James said it's supposed to have. So if I could get really aggressive with drops or like cross court shots or angles or something like that, that's what this paddle is really fun for.
Always fun to show these durable grit paddles to my buddies that I play with because a lot of them are using like Pro 4s or Pro 5s. Some of them have started using RPMs, but the durable grit really hasn't crashed into my 5.0 group just yet. But I'm just like, yo, new paddle, feel this grit, and everyone's like, what? That's insane! With the crazy feeling sandpaper, that the other paddles don't quite have. So everyone's really impressed by the grit levels.
Yeah, it's a fun paddle. I like it a lot. It's I think slightly more like niche for those tennis players, but I'm really scared. Like, there's a couple of players that I know that like still have like a Gen 2 like Vatic, but he just like puts so much like dip on it and like spin where you're like, oh, that's totally out because it's by my shoulder, and then just like drops down. And I had him use this paddle, and then he was like insane with it. And I'm like, give me that back. I give me that. You can't have it. You can't have it.
I do have a story. Somebody texted me about the strike. They asked me if they could buy my strike, and I said no, it's not for sale. But basically, they were playing in a 5.5 plus tournament over the weekend, and somebody was using a strike, and apparently multiple players were challenging the strike and having it tested. It passed apparently, but the player that was trying to buy this paddle was saying that the spin was insane and also the power level too. So I don't know if, once you get to the 6.055 level, you're probably generating crazy power anyways with whatever Gen 3 paddle you're using. But
that's what I'm saying. The power is there when you need it. It's not quite as like, it doesn't quite have as much trampoline effect or dwell as like the Q2 or V2. So it's not as like easy power. Like when you like the Q2 or V2, especially Q2, when you just hold it there, like the resets are pretty, like they're so simple, right? So this isn't quite like that power, but on drives, the power is definitely there when you need it. I had plenty of drives that were out long, and I'm like, dang it.
yeah, it's a funny story there. I don't think we have a date on this yet. Actually, I think they're waiting John Q's tier testing results before they release it because James only wants to release tier 1 grip paddles if he's doing durable grit options.
He said, I ain't no bitch. I ain't really no tier 2.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, definitely a winner from them. Hopefully they come out with the flat top hybrid We don't have any news on the Jade either, except for the fact that it's a 16 millimeter MPP paddle that's supposed to be a little bit like more stiff too, not as like a vibration-y Inferno MPP paddle. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys updated when we hear anything. Hopefully, in both the Strike and the Jade, they make it in the flat top hybrid shape. I think those are going to be the two most popular shapes for sure: the elongated and the flat top hybrid. But let's go to the new Inferno 2 M1.
Sharp looking paddle. I really like the look of that.
I agree. I think it's the best looking Inferno yet, even though everybody's calling it the toasted marshmallow. I still think it looks really good.
It does look like a toasted marshmallow.
This one is supposed to be different because instead of EVA foam around the outside, it's TPE foam around the outside, which gives it a slightly different feel. But it actually sounds pretty similar to the OG Inferno. I was hitting them back and forth. And it's still deep. It's still thonky. I would say maybe slightly less of a sweet spot, slightly less hot, a little bit easier to control, and but besides that, pretty similar. I know that I was hitting with Abby Hatton, and she uses the Luzz glider. She's sponsored by Luzz, and she was not a fan of some of the other paddles, but really likes the Luzz glider. And then she really liked the Luzz Inferno 2 because it's like a toned down Luzz, so or toned down Inferno. So if you like had a hard time controlling it, then maybe you'll like this one and try out the toasted marshmallow.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of attention online. That one in your hands is for sale. So if anyone's interested, you could DM us. Zion's got a few. He's the Luzz plug. I am having a Luzz demo day next week, so exposing some Hudson Valley pickleball players to the Luzz brand for the first time, which will be good. And they didn't send the toasted marshmallow, but they sent a bunch of other ones to test. So we'll get those in folks' hands next week.
I will say it is quite gritty. It's almost as gritty as the Strike. It's not been tested, so we don't know if it's going to be long lasting or durable. You can kind of see like the grit on the face, which is pretty cool. I like that part of it. So I think if you want power, the OG Inferno is better. This plays the closest to the Blackout Inferno, in my opinion. I've talked to a couple other people too, and they agree with that. But I would say that the sweet spot isn't quite as much. So if you're like, hey, this paddle was too much for me and I want it toned down, or if you're like, I like the deep thonky feel and I want the longer lasting grit, again, we haven't tested the grit. We haven't seen any data on that. So I don't know how long lasting it is. That's just what they're claiming. Then anyways, that's who this paddle might be for.
How close does it play to the Frozen?
Hotter than the Frozen, but similar to that. It's kind of in between the Frozen and the Blackout, but a little bit closer to the Blackout.
Got it. It's so tough to keep them all in your head and where they rank and stuff.
Yeah. Geez, I would say in order of like, because the OG Inferno, like the pink one, is like very like thonky and dwelly. So I would say it goes that one, then the blue one, then the Blackout, then the toasted marshmallow, then the Frozen, in terms of like thonky, dwelly to a little bit on the stiffer side.
Got it. I was just looking at some data from Braden and Aaron at Pickleball Effects. So he did test this new Luzz Inferno 2, and it tested at 87%, which is tier 3 for his surface roughness grit durability test. So better than raw carbon fiber, which tests at 80%.
Interesting. This is $239, by the way. They're $239 MSRP. So I think I maybe have one or two left. So hit me up if you want a deal. And yeah, I like Luzz. Luzz is innovating, man. They just came out with like 2 new colors with the glider. They came out with like the flying squirrel one with the glider, which is pretty cool. So they're always doing good things. They're always trying to be better. I like the Inferno, the Canon 2M1 a lot too. So it's just a slightly toned down Canon. I think the Canon was the budget paddle of the year last year. Best bang for your buck by far. I just sold one last night. So I like a lot of their products. They're pretty solid.
Yeah, really solid offerings. You know, if you want that full foam option around the 200 mark. They've got it now with durable grit, and they've got the glider at that cheaper 110-ish Gen 3 price. So, they've got the best of both worlds for sure.
Yes. Let's talk about a paddle that we both just got yesterday, but I've literally only played one game with it, so I can't speak to it too much. And you probably just hit it on the dink wall, but it is the E6 Ignis. It's an MPP paddle. And talking about the Inferno, this is maybe, I didn't think you can get a deeper, thonkier sound than the OG single stamp pink Inferno until I started hitting this thing. So if you're a fan of the Inferno, this thing is 125 with code. And man, what a unique feeling. The resets are so easy because it is very like MPP to the max with dwell and really deep thonky sounds. What do you think about it?
Yeah, shout out to E6 for sending us these. We do now have code Volley Zone set up with them, and these are supposedly shipping now. These look to be in stock. We can't hear you. Can't hear it, Zion. No.
You can't hear it at all?
Gosh
dang it.
Let me see if I can do it on mine. But yeah, shout out to Sal at E6 and Christy Price for helping us get in touch with E6. Let me see if this shows up on the mic.
No, the first hit did, and then it zoned it out somehow. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, with code Volley Zone, it's only 125. So, which I think is absolutely worth it if you like that thonky MPP, like an enhanced turbo or like a Luzz Inferno. Then I think this is absolutely worth $125.
Yeah, I was hitting this against the Luzz Inferno 1. And a little bit of a softer feel, although it sounds thonkier. I didn't feel like I was getting as much power on like flicks with this, just volleys on the Dink Master that I was doing. But yeah, we had the Sirocco from E6, which was a rocket launcher. So I think that they, toned it down a little bit. I'm looking at their marketing material and it says top tier linear power, means it's still easy to control, no explosive boing. If you listen to Pickleball Pursuit,
I would agree with that. That's pretty accurate. And yours came in, I forgot to measure mine, but yours came in at like 7.7 or something like that.
7.7, insanely light, and
light maneuverable.
It does say internal MOI, means that you don't need a lot of customization, but
I agree with that. Again, I've only played one game. But usually I'm pretty good at this now, where if I hit even with one game, I'm like, okay, I need some weight, and then I could try some weight setups. I didn't necessarily feel like that at all. I mean, maybe just down at the throat, just because I always do that with my paddles. I'd try that out to see if it made much of a difference. But there's not like a glaring, it needs a bigger sweet spot at all. The sweet spot's great.
Yeah. On their website, it says all of these paddles in the elongated shape are 7.75 ounces. So it's spot on with mine, with a twist weight of 6.2 and a low swing weight of 113. And then this is pretty funny. Oh, it sounds like a cannon. Everyone will want to know what you're playing with. If you don't like attention, you better get some bodyguards to keep the paddle peasants away.
Dude, you know what was crazy? Have you seen that new like CPX paddle?
Yes.
And that's crazy loud and really thonky. And there's been a couple people get them at my club, and I haven't like reached out to them to buy them or anything like that. They've just been showing up, and I hit one, and I'm like, how did this pass? This is crazy illegal. And I had like Noah Cliff and Tyson McGuffin and Martin Emmerich and Ivan Jugovic, whatever how you say his last name. I'm sorry. Playing at my club like a week or two ago because they were all in town for the playoffs in Dallas. And my buddy Ivan was playing in the court next to them, and he was using that CPX paddle, and it is so like deep and thuddy and thonky that Tyson McGuffin went in between to the fence line and was like, dude, what the hell is that paddle? What is that thing? Like, it even got Tyson McGuffin's attention. So that is similar how this E6 Ignis is. It will probably get people's attention by just how different it sounds.
Yeah, and I will add that it says that they have added their embedded grit, which is not spray-on grit. We built it into our final layer, and it's not coming off. So it seems like some sort of durable grit. It is sparkly on the face, so I'm wondering if that's part of the build, but interested to see what the tier durability results on this are. But, kind of a unique looking paddle. The burnt gold is pretty unique. We don't see a lot of that. Still very like incognito, mostly black paddle. The design looks pretty cool. So interested to see how this one plays.
Yeah, totally worth giving it a shot. I like it a lot. E6 is unique. They feel slightly different than every other paddle, but the Sirocco, it was a really good paddle, and I don't think enough people knew about it or tried that one. And then the Ignis is under the radar too. So I think, again, for people who like that MPP feel, for $125, this is absolutely a winner.
Love that. All right. Looks like the foam
Let's
paddle.
talk about these things. It's literally, is the company called Foam or is the paddle called Foam? I don't know. I think maybe this is called it says the Recoil right here. So I think the company is called Foam and the paddle is called Recoil. I'm not 100% sure, other than the fact that this is a 16 millimeter foam paddle. And if you go on their Instagram, they have like two different screenshots of the foam, and the website isn't updated. So I don't know like which core it is, if it's that core or if it's that core. I have no clue. Both of them are pretty unique. This paddle is pretty awesome actually, and it's pretty sparkly. It's supposed to have like a durable grit. It's pretty unique feeling paddle. It's quite dwelly for a foam paddle. Gets a lot of spin, and it still is pretty powerful because of how much it sinks into the paddle. I could shape it really well, especially on serves and drives, but has a lot of touch at the kitchen. So it kind of reminds me of how the Thrive Ignite does that, how you get a lot of power on drives, but then a little bit more touch at the kitchen. So similar to that, except a little bit more power than the Thrive Ignite. So unique. I don't know anything else about this company or this paddle though. Do you?
I have a little bit more info. So, I work in the corporate world and people say that it's all about who you know. So this is a similar story. This is a representative from Foam Paddle who worked for a previous paddle company who reached out to me and said, hey, working with a new company, you want to try the paddle? So that's how we got our hands on these. The price will be around the $200 range. They're not too positive just yet. It is pending USAP approval. They should hear within a week or so. I haven't yet played with it.
It should be USAP approved.
Yeah, nothing crazy about it. It didn't seem overly powerful from, just doing some volleys on the Dink Master earlier. But it does have that sparkly surface to it, so wondering if, how that durable grit will hold up. But it is a really nice elongated shape. It did measure pretty close to 7.5 by 16.5. So good dimensions.
I like the shape a lot. It feels really good.
Good dimensions there. Doesn't feel too head heavy, which I feel is sometimes we get from the foam paddles. But I'm just laughing at the makeup of the handle because it is actually like a carbon copy of another brand paddle that I'm holding that I won't name, but they look pretty similar.
Yeah, I actually really like this paddle. It's very stable. The twist weight is pretty high. It does not need any other weight, which companies do that more and more. It used to be where I added weight in all sorts of ways to almost every paddle I had, and companies are doing a really good job of widening that sweet spot and making it more stable or adding internal perimeter weighting so it needs less customization, which is kind of a bummer for a guy who likes to customize paddles, but it is more user-friendly for your everyday person.
Okay.
And dude, I will say with this foam paddle, one of my favorite shots is the backhand slice drop. And with the Pro 4, which I made for a while, or the RPM V216, which I made for a while, that shot was money because with those Gen 3 paddles, the dwell was fantastic and the touch, I could feel the ball, and it just went to that corner with spin almost every time. Now, foam paddles are a little bit harder to hit that shot. I feel like it's a little bit more linear, and I can't feel the ball as much with that dwell on that backhand slice until I use this foam. So this foam recoil or whatever it's called, this paddle has been impressive with that shot specifically. So I have loved it, and it gets tons of spin with this glittery surface that it has. I don't even know what it is or what they're going to call it. We have zero information, but I've been quite impressed with it so far. We've been chatting with Matt Pickleball too, and he said the same thing. He likes it a lot.
Yeah, he said it was gonna stay in his interesting pile for him to hit it and review it a little bit. He's got a long list of paddles to review, but it caught his attention, so that says a lot. Guy has a lot of paddles to review.
Yeah, crazy amount. And then the last, have you hit with it at all yet?
No, just on the Dink Master, I agree. It has sort of a, maybe a dwellier type feel sinking into the face. I can feel it a bit more as I was just hitting on the Dink Master before.
Gotcha. Sweet. And I have not played with this paddle, but you have very interesting shape. It looks cool. Has a couple of different colorways. The new Mark Unmarked paddle. What do you think about this one, Nick?
Yeah, so this one's getting a lot of attention in the reviewer world. It was making headlines on each of the top podcasters episodes that came out this week. This is the Mark Unmarked 2026. It is a full foam paddle that has the holes in them that we've seen from another brand, but really nice grit. It's called Velocigrit, and with the Velocicore. So it will retail for $195. We do have code Volley Zone set up, and I will be getting some at HVP, so we'll have these available online to you as well. Really top tier power paddle, spin S tier. I hit a drive down the line from the left side, which just looped and curled out and in and touched the back corner. One of the nastiest shots I've hit with a foam paddle. I didn't have any difficulty controlling this, although one of the other reviewers was saying that it goes a bit boing, as he says. I didn't quite feel that boingness. Has a sort of a neutral-ish feel, but a little bit on the hollower side, but I would describe it as buttery feel, kind of similar to the Spartus Spitfire, which I put in that category. So not super stiff, not super hollow, kind of just in that middle range.
It sounds pretty user-friendly, huh?
Yeah, user-friendly, power when you need it. Some really good resets as I was making my way in. It did come up as tier 1 under Braden's tier testing, which is really promising. Kind of out of nowhere, Mark is a smaller brand. They're actually out of the Brooklyn, New York area. So, when a New York brand springs up, kind of similar to Friday, I try and get on board. The facility, Hudson Valley Pickleball, is located in New York. So I'm, trying to promote local as much as possible. So we are going to get these in the shop. Really excited for them. They have 3 kind of unique colors. They have this one here, which is that neon with the lighter blue. I think this one's called Martian. And then the one on the screen is that purple with lighter blue. And then they have an orange with neon green, I think. So really cool colorways. Has a blacked out face, not a whole lot of text on it, but this one's getting a lot of attention. And they are releasing on August 26th, and I was told that we should have those around the same period for launch. So I've been getting a lot of questions. Use code Volley Zone on Vonija Pickleball and also on Mark's website. But I did get a handful of questions about this paddle and if I'd be getting them in, and that's sort of the forecast gauge that I use on whether or not I should get them in the pro shop or not. And I'm sure Zion's kind of similar, but definitely got a few questions on these. So this is a really good power paddle. I would highly recommend if you're looking for, that sort of paddle with potentially tier 1 grit. Seems like it's a good candidate. Has the fudgesicle shape, which people are calling it, and the swing weight's on the lower side. Has people are saying
that's a pretty funny name and unique shape. I mean, the closest comparison would probably be the J6 CR, right? Do you feel like it's it looks a little more like curved than the J6 CR, maybe slightly less like square. Do you feel like it swings almost exactly like the J6 CR, or is it slightly different?
It's close. Definitely the shape and the taper feel very similar. It has, these wider cheeks on the bottom to help with the twist weight. But yeah, definitely sort of similar to that J6 shape. I did throw,
Yeah.
these are 3 gram 3D printed clips at 3 and 9. It plays well without weight, but I tend to play on the heavier side, so I threw some on 3 and 9 and played really solid. So that's what I'm gonna be rocking with for a while.
Nice. There's not many unmarked paddles in the DFW area, so I don't know if I'll see this one or get to play with it, but it looks very intriguing. I wish I could.
Definitely gritty to the touch. Also has that sparkly grit surface to it. So yeah, really cool things from Mark. We don't have, a lot of those foam paddles with the cutouts anymore from, due to the carbon lawsuit. So seems like a really high performing build.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, that's a lot of paddles we've had. We did have a couple Q&A questions. I had somebody this morning, fun fact, come up to me and they used code Volley Zone on your website and they bought some Von Egypt grips and they were telling me how much they loved them. He specifically, shout out to Thomas, he specifically got what's the new color? Not the lavender, the other one. It's like a
Arctic
teal or something?
mint, yeah.
Arctic mint. He got some Arctic mint and he liked it a lot. So shout out to you with those Von Egypt grips. Those are cool. Use code VolleyZone.
Thank you. Yeah, really excited for them. Getting a lot of positive feedback about them. So definitely check those out if you're interested.
Yes. Okay, we got some questions. Couple of them. Any RPM updates? Any RPM news? How does the new RPM strike compare to other paddles? So there's a couple RPM questions. I feel like we went over some RPM stuff on everything that we knew. We went over the new hybrids. We went over the strike. We didn't really have any new news on the Jade. So I feel like we covered that pretty well. But if we didn't, then let us know if you have any other specific questions on the RPMs. But I feel like we covered that pretty well.
Yeah, I have one tidbit that I can't show on screen, but I was showing a picture of the diesel, and apparently it's going to come out in it's only going to come out in a 16, but Jared said it's going to come out in a wide option and an elongated option. I did in the picture of it. The
diesel is the pizza pan paddle. Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
With the really short handle, I think James said it's like 4 inches, but
no, it's 4.5. It's 4.5.
4.5. It looks like you can wrap a little bit higher. So we might get closer to that 5-inch, but it's definitely going to be on the smaller side. But I did see an initial rendering of it. It looks pretty sleek. So it's not a paddle that needs to be loud, meaning like vibrant colors or anything, because you're going to get some looks just based off the shape anyways.
Do you think they should do like a pizza pan colorway? Should they team up with Chicago Slice?
They absolutely should. Wasn't James on the Chicago Slice before getting terminated? And Ryan...
he was. Yeah, he's got the contact info, exactly.
Yeah. Turned it into a
and Vivian
pizza.
Glassman. I forgot who the fourth one was. Who was the other girl? Can't remember. Sure. Yeah. Anyways, we did see an updated picture of the Jade, and which we can't show yet, but I will tell you, think Matrix vibes. That's all we can say.
Nice. Yeah, that one looked good. Let's see, what other questions? 305 Pickleball Dealer said, how do high-level players use control in all-court paddles? They don't?
I think a lot of the they really don't, but if they do, it's because they can generate their own power really well. I have a buddy who is he's older now, he's probably like 50, 55, but he was an Olympic fencer. And so he actually has really fast hands, and he can really he leaps forward, has great footwork, and can really twist his body really well. And so he generates his power really well. So he doesn't really need to use a power paddle as much. He does great with whatever paddle that he's using because he has great form and great hands. So I think if higher level players are using a non-power paddle, it's because they were extremely high level, like tennis or another sport where they could generate their own power somehow. But I really don't see high-level players using all-court or non-power paddles, except for maybe the 6-0 coral. It's the only one I can think of.
I like that. I have a child sitting behind me. Thank you, Ella. Thank you for the muffin. Appreciate it. Talk to you guys later.
That is so sweet.
I got a muffin from the kiddos. I'll eat that,
Love that, man.
Off stream.
Nick's a dad of 4. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Nick's a dad of 4. So
Yes.
his house is always wild.
Yeah, that was our oldest and second oldest, 6 and 5.
Somebody asked, what's the worst category to play in at tournaments?
Singles came immediately to mind.
I so agree. Yeah, I think my favorite's probably mixed, and then gender, and then singles. That's just me.
And I only have like a few mixed tournaments under my belt. I've played a lot of men's. It's really difficult to find 4 or 5 plus women in my area. So I've had to venture out. I've played with Sabrina a few times, which has been great, and trying to venture out to other areas. There's a sort of a hotbed in North Jersey for 4 or 5 plus women. There's a lot, maybe like 10 out there. So I'm trying to get out there and play a little bit more and make friends.
Yeah, it's just a hike, huh?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a hike, and I don't really have.
Well, and then the high level women have their pick of the litter for whatever guy they want to play with. So then you got to suck up to them or be really nice to them because they could pick whatever guy they want.
Yeah, they can pick
a lot of high level guys.
Whoever they want, because it's very, very male dominant right now.
Yeah. Somebody asked, main paddle at the moment, both in performance and favorite in general.
So I've been using, the 14 millimeter RPM elongated V2 for quite some time. I did just switch to the blackout version, which I will officially say I've switched to. It just has better spin. For me, it has, similar feel, although some people are saying it's a little different, but for me, it wasn't too much of a change. I am going to try out the hybrid versions next week, so we'll see what that does. But I'm hopeful for the hybrids to see if that can up my game. How about you?
If I've been playing like men's more, then I've been using the strike a little bit more, and or the blackout V216. And when I've been playing mixed or want to be a little more aggressive, then I got myself a cotton candy Q2 that I've been ripping, and this thing is awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
So, but it's hard because I just filter through a lot of paddles and stuff like that. So when I've been using the Cosmos a little bit if I want to be consistent because it's got a good sweet spot. Here, I'm just switching cameras. Sorry, chat. I switched to the hybrid blackout Cyclone, so that was really fun.
Oh, the blackout Cyclone. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. All right, one final question from a Von Egypt Pickleball ambassador, and he said, "Why have I not won a giveaway yet?" And that's a good segue into our outro here. So if you want to enter into the giveaway for the Proton Peacock, click the form down in the description below, and also comment down below on our YouTube video. What do they have to comment?
Their favorite hat color. What hat color they want.
That's right. Your favorite Volley Zone hat color. And we'll also post a video to our Instagram page. Follow us on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe. We're almost at 500 subscribers on the Volley Zone channel. We appreciate you. Gotta get to that 1,000. That's when brands start really noticing us. So yeah, been a ton of fun. Episode 16. Zion. See you in the next, dude.
Peace out, fam. Appreciate you.
Peace.
Anyone can pick up a paddle and call themselves a player. but not everyone can be a competitor. Nick and Zion love the game. Listen to the Volley Zone Podcast and you'll put all your opponents to shame. Some people play pickleball to fool around, but if you really want to know what's going down, tune in to the Volley Zone Podcast every day. Nick and Zion can teach anyone from a toddler to your grandparents how to play. Nick Von Egypt is a beast on the court. Even with his 5.0 duper, he's a good sport. And when Zion Mir isn't in Texas overseeing his 2 indoor pickleball facilities, he's always working on his magical ball spinning capabilities. Tune in to Nick and Zion every day. If you care about your duper, they can make any cat into a tiger. Anyone can play pickleball, whether they are young or old. But listening to the Volley Zone Podcast will help you earn some